our goal and our idea is to get up to 15 people to come accompany Ronald and Jose inside as part of the delegation. Ronald will be delivering a letter he wrote, and he'll be actually saying the letter. And then Jerry Kohler, who wrote a letter to Congressman Blumenauer, will be delivering those letters. He wrote the letter and we got a bunch of PCAST folks to sign them, so he'll be delivering those letters. And then Jose will talk a little bit about the importance of Blumenauer not voting for the Colombia Free Trade Agreement, and he will be translated by Daniel Bonham. Thank you, Daniel.
This is Ronald He'd like to deliver a letter to Congressman Blumenauer on behalf of his community. And if you don't mind, he'd like to read it to you.
Okay.
Okay, good morning. From Blumenauer. I am an international student of Monjot Community College. I'm from Sachapapa, Peru. I want to inform you about what happened in Bagua City, Peru, from my perspective as a member of the Abahun indigenous group. The government of Peru made a law that permits exploitation of the rainforest by allowing outside companies to take the natural resources. This affects the indigenous peoples by polluting their soils and water and deforesting the area around their communities. Because of this, the indigenous peoples protest in Bagua by closing the principal transportation route from the Amazon states in our country. The government responds sending the public forces that made present there with helicopter and people driving vehicles full of guns. Because of that, the average of the result of 100 indigenous people died, 300 others 500 disappeared, and 24 policemen died when they was with indigenous people by other same police group hurt in the indigenous group. And Wilmer Dalmasechu fathers and his uncles died. As you see, it is difficult to live in harmony, and I feel impotent that I can't do anything to help them. But I am a student natural resources, and my English is not really good. As I know you are interested in the environment, so I would like to know if you could let people know what has been happening in Peru. I will really appreciate that, but more all the people that are suffering in my country. And I ask that Congress Blumenauer put pressure of the Obama administration to contact the Peruvian government and urge them that respect human rights and the repression of this form of economic development that is destroying indigenous community. Thank you.
And as you can see, there are a lot of people in Congressman Blumenauer's district that are really concerned about the killings in the Amazon and the destruction of the environment there. And we have letters that we collected from Congressman Blumenauer's constituents, really stating the importance of really questioning his vote on the Peru Free Trade Agreement, and also calling on the Obama administration to contact the government of Peru to stop the killings because indigenous communities are being killed and destroyed. So here are the letters.
And I'm Jerry Kohler. I teach accounting at Mount Hood Community College, and I'm also a member of the Portland Central American Solidarity Committee, so this really has affected me, as this is one of our exchange students and his indigenous peoples have been affected. So here are the letters, and I wrote the letter.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And finally, just in terms of the issue of trade, we think it is really important that Blumenauer recognize the consequences of yes votes on trade agreements. And we have a Colombian trade unionist here, Jose, who just wants to share a little bit, sort of from his perspective, the importance of not supporting free trade agreements and definitely the Colombia Free Trade Agreement.
No hablo el inglés.
I do not speak English.
Agradecer al
I
gobierno
would like to say something to the government,
que al menos aquí nos escuchan,
okay, that at least that you listen to us,
en mi país no se escucha.
because in my country they do not listen to us.
Estoy en representación de la Confederación General de Trabajo de la CGT, Colombia.
There's the representation of the
CGT.
CGI,
ASMET me invitó a Oregon.
and he asked me in Oregon.
Estoy en una pasantía con la LFCO.
I'm here in an official capacity
Aprovecho esta oportunidad
to take advantage of this opportunity
para pronunciar
to
que el
announce
pueblo colombiano
that
está en contra del Tratado de Libre Comercio,
the people of Colombia are against the free trade agreements,
porque es una rotación
because this is something that is
de miseria y hambre entre nuestras
this is
naciones.
something that brings about misery and otra vez,
El Tratado Libre es una rotación de miseria y hambre entre nuestras naciones.
and things bad that happen with
El Tratado de Libre Comercio no beneficia sino a las transnacionales,
free trade agreements do not have any benefits except for the transnational corporation.
que pueden llevar sus capitales, pero no los derechos laborales de los trabajadores consigo.
They can use their capital for their own benefit, but they do not respect the rights of the people.
También denunciamos la persecución
We denounce also the persecution
de los dirigentes sindicales, incluidos sus asesinatos.
of the leaders of the union movements, and especially in cases where there's been assassinations or murders.
Pero eso es grave, pero más grave es la desaparición de nuestras organizaciones sindicales.
The murders are very grave, is a bad thing, but even more grave is the fact that the trade unions are disappearing.
Y por intermedio de la tercerización laboral están esclavizando a los pueblos.
And by getting rid of the trade unions, that they are enslaving the people.
Y nuestros campesinos, cuando se firman los tratados, son los perjudicados y ellos defienden su tierra.
Okay, so when the workers in the fields or the campesinos.
¿Quién los defiende?
Espera. Farm workers. Okay. When the farm workers sign agreements without representation, that they are persecuted.
¿Y nuestros campesinos, quién los defiende?
Our farm workers are just trying to defend themselves.
Por eso estamos acá pidiéndole al gobierno norteamericano
And that's the reason why we were here asking that the United States government
que las políticas que por lo regular se aplican en nuestros países,
and that the politicians that on a regular basis are able to deal with these issues
que nos ayuden
help us.
y que no al TLC,
And that what, Mandy?
no
No
al
al
Tratado de Libre
TLC.
Comercio.
And that there should not be any free trade agreements.
Gracias.
I also wanted to let you know that on May 14th, a number of us came here to talk about the Panama Trade Agreement and the Trade Act. And the office promised to get back to us with Earl Blumenauer's response to both our desire that strong desire that he oppose the Panama Free Trade Agreement and endorse and co-sponsor the Trade Act. And no one has gotten back to us. So we're not coming here just to talk, you know. And the idea is that Earl Blumenauer is supposed to be our representative and get back to us, the people. And so far it hasn't happened. Yeah, it's not your fault, but he really should be getting back to us.
Thank you.
We will be back.
I have one last comment. I'm a member of Electricians Union Local 48, IBW here in Portland, also a delegate to the Northwest Oregon Labor Council. 2 years ago, I questioned Congressman Blumenauer in my union on his support for the Peruvian Free Trade Agreement. He was quite adamant at that time that this was good for the U.S., that it was good for Peru, and that there were adequate environmental and labor safeguards in effect. I think that what has transpired shows that he's made a mistake on it, and I think this is an opportunity for the congressman to make the transition from politician to statesman, and by that he can just step up and say, you know, I got this one wrong, and I'm going to change my way of thinking.